Get ready because we're celebrating 5 incredible years of the Main Health Show. It's more than just a hair show. It's a platform where we dive into topics that truly matter, just like your favorite barbershop or beauty salon. We cover a wide variety of issues that impact each and every one of us. Join me, Stephanie Anderson, host of the Main Health Show, as we celebrate 5 years of empowerment, education, and inspiration. Don't miss out on the incredible insights and transformative conversations that await you on the Main Health Show. The publishing world is revolving faster than ever. AI, blockchain, and even the metaverse are changing the game for authors. But how can writers harness these tools to success? Hi, I'm Stephanie Anderson. Welcome to the Main Health Show. Today, we have a true literary innovator with us. B. Alan Bourgeois is a multi-award-winning author, publisher, and visionary speaker dedicated to helping writers navigate the ever-changing landscape of publishing. With over 30 years of experience in the industry, he has been at the forefront of literary innovation, empowering authors to embrace AI, blockchain, and the metaverse, a game-changing tool for success. As the founder of Bourgeois Books, Alan has not only written and published numerous works, I think he told me over 30? 42. Going to talk about that. Published numerous works across multiple genres, but also has guided thousands of authors through the complexities of publishing, marketing, and book sales in the digital era. His expertise extends beyond traditional publishing with deep insights into how AI-driven marketing, NFTs, and cryptocurrency payments are reshaping the book industry. A sought-after speaker and thought leader, Alan has delivered dynamic presentations at writers' conferences, publishing expos, and industry summits. His engaging TED-style talks breaks down complex technological trends into practical strategies that authors can use to grow their readership and increase book sales. As an advocate for independent authors, Alan's mission is clear: to educate, equip, and inspire writers to thrive in the digital future. Whether discussing AI-powered tools, book creation, virtual book signings in the metaverse, or blockchain-based royalties, his insights provide authors with the knowledge they need to stay ahead of the curve. We welcome Alan Bourgeois. Thank you for coming to the Main Health Show.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you. I recently had the opportunity to meet you at the San Antonio African American Book Festival, and I saw you around doing different things. You were interviewing the different authors, taking videos, and it intrigued me. I said, this is someone that I think the Main Health audience would love to hear from, so thank you.
Oh, it's a pleasure.
We're going to jump in because we only have so many minutes. You dedicated your career, Alan, to uplifting Texas authors through the Texas Authors Institute of History. What inspired you to create this organization? How has it evolved over the years?
There were a lot of factors involved.
Okay.
Being an independent author myself, but also working as a publisher, realizing that marketing is so critical for authors. I mean, that's 90% of our job. It really is.
Yes.
And there was no service or organization at the time, and this is 2011, that offered something like that. So I started off with the Texas Association of Authors as an educational tool. And in 2015, I created the museum, the Institute, as a place to save our history, because Texas has been around now coming up on 200 years. And that's a lot of writers over that period. Currently, we estimate there's close to 77,000 Texas authors.
Wow.
And we haven't even discovered. We only have about 2,200, 2,400 in our museum list. So we're eager to meet all these people and stuff. So that's history, like your book. It deserves to be saved so that people can learn from it.
Yeah. Well, thank you, because, you take it for granted. And some people are real modest about things and not really, as an author, you want to get your message out there, but to have an actual place for someone to be able to have their renderings there as a text is huge. So you have a great history and career as an author of marketing, and now with the actual museum. You gave me a little bit of insight on what it is you project in 2032 is, and when Texas
2036
when Texas we reach out 200th year. What is it that you have in store for
so our goal, is not only saving the rich history of the last 200 years, but current authors. We kind of figure there's well over 1 million books that have been written by Texas authors. So that's a lot of space. So our goal is to build a physical location that not only houses that, both in the physical but in ebook form, but also have a place where authors can come to do the writing. Having little lodges and rooms where they can just come and rent and do some writing and stuff. An educational source. We do events throughout the year that are education based, festivals, things of that nature. We also do interviews like this. So we want a place where people can come, learn from other professionals, as well as learn from the history and the experience that is there. We have some really wonderful writers that have come out of Texas well over 200 years. And it's important to share with that and educate the people that are learning from that as well.
It is. And I get your newsletter, and I'm able to attest to the fact that there's a lot of different activities that you really wouldn't even think of. And I love the fact that you highlight and you celebrate authors. At the recent event that I was talking about, I think that we had the highest attendance of African-American authors in one setting in Texas.
Correct, for this year. So far.
Well.
For Texas, let us know.
Yeah. And I think that's important to celebrate.
It is.
Meeting different people and being able to learn about what it is that they do. There are so many genres of books there and available that it's really good to have a space like yours that can celebrate that and to let people see what Texas is doing and honor that rich history. Okay, so as a writer, and I'm just getting into this space, but I realize that some people are really challenged with AI. If you don't know what that is, but AI is really one of those things that a lot of people feel a certain way about. What is your take on, and how can an author use that to their benefit?
So sadly, AI will, I don't want to say will take over writing, because it ultimately won't. But I know of at least 100 books that have been written by AI and are published. But for an author, using AI to critique their work is a great tool. It's kind of like having a secondary editor go through and refine and make comments and suggestions on how to improve your writing and stuff. It's also a great marketing tool. When you submit your book, that's all done, and you say, okay, tell me what's the best genres to go after, what are the keywords, what are a sales pitch. Give me a sales pitch. It could be one paragraph, one sentence, or it's 3 paragraphs. It will give you good, detailed information. So that can help an author immensely. Cover designs, I wouldn't recommend so much because it's getting better, but it just can't spell very well.
Yes, of course, and you can kind of tell.
And so if you go for a cover without wording, you can come up with some really nice stuff. But unfortunately, you do want a graphic artist to really get in there and create it, because then they need to also create other imagery that will work with your marketing plan and stuff. But it's a good source for starting off. Like I said, your initial editing, your initial marketing materials, all of those are good starting points.
Do you find a lot of authors are using it? One of the things that I think I've spoken to other people about is that they feel as though, and I think anything that's relatively new, people are kind of afraid of. But it looks like you've honed into how to use it to your advantage, not something to depend on or use it as a crutch, but something to assist you in the process.
Exactly.
I think a lot of people are afraid that AI will, like you say, don't want to say take over, but people to use it as a crutch or a handicap in order to not exercise those creative juices that they normally would.
Mm-hmm.
So I can see the benefit of having it as a secondary editor.
It most definitely can help.
Yeah.
It gives you some insight, especially if you ask the right questions.
Okay. Now that's the thing, the questions.
The prompts.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
If you're casual in the prompts, you're going to get casual type of information back. What you give is what you get back. Basically.
Okay.
So when you fine tune a prompt and ask it a very specific question, it will give you back that information that will be valuable to you. It is a challenge, and yes, people are afraid of it for a lot of reasons, and I fully understand that. If you are sitting down, and if you're old school like me, and you're handwriting that book out, it can be overwhelming at times.
Yeah.
But it's good then to come back and say, okay, what did I miss? Did I follow the line right, or did I screw up and change somebody's color of hair, halfway down the line? Little things like that can be very beneficial for that initial round of editing and stuff.
So you've written so many books, sir. You've been able to be a publisher at one time, and then now you're independently publishing. Do you have a particular genre that you more? I mean, tell me about.
I'm all over the place.
Okay, good. That's creative.
I've written a children's book, and actually, I'm working on another one, which kind of surprised me. I wasn't expecting that.
Okay.
I've written mysteries. I've written suspense, good old thrillers, spiritual books, and the ones I'm most proud of right now are the 32 books that I've written under the Writer's Edge series, which are all how-to books for authors.
Oh, great. Okay.
Understanding how to create a sales pitch, how to do your elevators pitch, how to create a book cover, how to properly market and work on Amazon, which is a challenge in itself.
It is.
So there's 32 books. There are some repetitive aspects to it, but for the most part, they're short, simple books, very thin, easy to work with, that help the author get that quick answer, that quick response that they need. So they're not spending 2 or 3 days trying to figure out what the author's telling them how to do something. It's very easy.
I could have definitely used that during my writing my first book. I mean, because it is challenging. You have to look up things if you don't know anyone that you can talk to. It is very, now what is, you said 32 books in this series?
Yeah, it's called the Writer's Edge series.
Okay.
And it's all available on Amazon, any bookstore you can go to. But just look under my name and you'll see all the different ones, how to create a book cover, how to create sales pitch, what type of tools are out there that may be AI based you can use, like Canva. A lot of people don't realize that's AI based. Or, and I just forgot the name of the other one that helps with writing and stuff. But there's a lot of different programs.
Of different tools that people use.
Challenges that you can run into, how to market yourself, all those things, even how to get your book into becoming a film.
Wow. And see, that is something, because a lot of people just feel like once they write a book, that's it. But there's so many different opportunities after that book. Just like you said, film. You can get someone to take that book and make it a screenplay and just take it to film. And so that's good to have something of a resource that someone like you has created for people to be able to use that as a tool.
And if I may, what I'm wearing here, my little shirt, if you can see the question marks and the shoes, that is actually my book cover. And so wearing your book covers can be fun ways. Exactly, it's marketing.
Yeah, it is.
And there's been many times I've worn this out at a non-author event, and people will say, "What's this about?" So I get to tell them about my book, but I also get to tell them what I do. And so little things like that are a great
conversation starter.
Exactly.
And I will forever remember you, the guy with the cool question mark T-shirt and shoes. Because that's what you want. You want to be memorable in people's minds when you go out. That's awesome. Adapting to a changing industry, because it is forever changing. With the rise of digital media and self-publishing platforms, how do you see the future of Texas literature evolving? How do you see it evolving?
Oh, well, okay. So go into, as you mentioned in the entry, you have the blockchain, you have NFTs.
Can you explain what that is, the blockchain? Okay.
Let's start with an NFT, okay? And we'll use this as an example, okay? I created an NFT with this. And by doing so, what I did is I took all these question marks and I have them move around in the cover image. Okay, so it's just like a mini video for all practical purposes of movement.
Okay.
Which, for this is very simple. But let's say you have a mystery book, okay, and you have a werewolf in the background and, a lady in the foreground or whatever. You can add mist. You can add the wolf, howling and stuff.
So it's a visual aid.
Exactly.
Okay.
And so you make that cover become alive. And that becomes an NFT that you can then sell for whatever price you choose. And if it's purchased, and especially a lot of them get purchased, over time, the value of that NFT, which is a non-fungible token, is what it is, can then increase in price, just like artwork. It can increase in price so that down the road, it might sell for $1,000 when it originally only sold for $25.
Wow.
But the beauty of it, and this is what's so important for authors, is they're still making money on every single sale down the chain.
Kind of like a royalty or something?
Yes. Exactly. And so even though they may have passed on, they could turn that over to their kids or their grandchildren.
A legacy.
Exactly. And
Inheritance.
continue to earn that money. Where art, you don't get that option these days. But now with NFTs, you can do that.
That is great to know. I wasn't aware of that. So about how long has that been something that...
So I started promoting it about 3 years ago. And it's getting better and better as time progresses because the web itself has changed. We used to be in 1 and 2, and now we're in Web 3, and now we're heading to Web 4, just like your phone has changed and stuff. So the quality can continue to improve, and that's wonderful to see. And that's where blockchain comes in because that's your currency, your crypto coins and stuff like that, which is just a form of, consider blockchain as a big ledger. Okay. And you created the book, so it gets listed right at the top. And then you sold one, so it's the next line. And it's resold. It's the next line. And it's resold. It's the next line. So it's just a ledger showing all of the sales as it continues to go so that it gives that the original paperwork, if you would, of who owned it and the progression down the line and stuff and how much it's increased or decreased in sales. So that's kind of what the blockchain is. It just is a big ledger listing everybody out.
So that's good for to be able to keep up with the sales and how it's doing. So what would your advice be to an aspiring author, someone who is considering getting into the industry, having a day for a book, and they don't know where to start?
Always start by just writing. That's how I first started. An idea came to mind because I got pissed off at the media about something back in 97. And I just started handwriting something out. And that's all it takes. Once you get it done, then you can go back and then you can change things up or you can add or subtract or whatever. But you've got to start by just writing.
Just writing. And normally before, it seemed like people are really doing more independent publishing, but I know I was encouraged when I wrote my first book to seek out a publisher, but it seemed like things are really changing. What is your idea on traditional, conventional publishing and actually independent authors who are publishing?
It comes down to how much control do you want. Okay. When you go traditional, one, you've got to wait a period of time to see if you can even sell the book to a publisher. And that can be years. I mean, I've heard stories of 25 years for a book to get published.
Wow.
But sometimes you're lucky and you might be that 1% that gets it really right off the bat. But as I mentioned, it comes down to how much control do you want. When you go traditional, you give up a lot of control. When you're hybrid, you give up some control, but not a lot. And when you're independent, you have full control over everything. And that means the expenses too. And the marketing, which is that hard part. And that's, again, why we're here. We're here to help you learn how to market and sell and give you options on different ways of marketing and stuff. So,
so there's 3 different ways. So the traditional with the book publisher. As a hybrid, you can work kind of independently or with a publisher. Is that the hybrid?
Yeah, they act like a publisher to some extent. But, they charge you certain fees for certain things. But they will publish the book once you're done with it.
Okay.
And there's a lot of good quality people out there and some that aren't as good. And then,
So do your research.
yeah, exactly.
Definitely. Just like anything else, you have to do your research. So we kind of hit on it a little bit, but I kind of want to talk about your personal writing journey. You talked about something happened and you started with the pen and paper. Kind of talk about how you evolved from your first book until 36.
Okay. Well, let me go back even further, if I may. I was 12 years old, and I happened to read Jaws.
Okay.
And I was just blown by how well it was written and the thrills it got and stuff. And that ignited my desire to write.
Okay.
Not the typical book a lot of people would think.
No, it's not. 'Cause I'm like, but the visuals I get from Jaws are not. But it was a visual. Yeah.
It was. And that's what I love is the visual aspects of it. But like a lot of people, even now, my parents said, no, you got to get an education, put that aside, you're not going to make money and stuff. So I did. And then I was challenged to write a short story in '89, and it got published, and that just reignited it again. And so from that point, I was writing a lot of short stories and stuff. And then '97, when that idea came to me about the book, again, because I was angry at what was going on.
Yeah.
And a lot of people do that. They see something happen that they're not happy with, or they want to change, or they want to add their 2 cents, and that inspires them to write and stuff. And all types of ideas come to you and stuff. So with that, I wrote my first book within 4 weeks.
Wow.
But I didn't finish it for 4 years.
Oh.
And the reason was I was afraid of what people would think. And I know a lot of authors go through that and stuff.
I can agree to that.
Yeah, and a lot of people hold on to things thinking, well, I only wrote it for myself. Yeah. But there's a lot of stories out there that if you share them, they help other people and stuff. And that's what ended up pushing me. It's like, okay, I'm going to finish it. I got it published with a small press. And that continued on my desire to write more. And then, seeing how independent publishing was coming along and stuff like that, I moved into that aspect. I helped other authors. I helped publish 60 books for authors around the world.
Wow.
And it was exciting, but that brought me to that marketing.
Yes.
Without that marketing, it's not going to mean a lot.
People have to know that you've written it. So it really matters how you market your material. So the fact that you're just doing so much, I look at the newsletters. I've seen you around at the events, and knowing your history, I know that we are going to have some people who want to know more about your books, know more about the museum, want to be able to contact you, Alan. So can you take a minute at the camera and tell them how they would be able to contact you? Sure.
Best thing to do is just reach out to me via email at texasauthors@outlook.com. Our website is texasauthorsmuseum.com. We have an event called the Lone Star Festival that's coming up June 7th and 8th in Austin, where authors and artists and other people will be coming together. And we have a world record event for authors in Texas coming up that weekend, where our goal is to have 120 authors read 15 minutes each from one of their published books. And we're hoping to do it live on social media at the same time. But the easiest way is texasauthors@outlook.com or through the museum website, texasauthorsmuseum.com.
That is amazing. And I heard about that event. I'm going to do my best to make sure I'm one of those authors that participate.
It should be a lot of fun.
It has been such a pleasure. Books are amazing, and the authors that create them are amazing people as well. So thank you for what you're doing for us and those that are striving to live in that creative space. But I just want to thank you for coming and spending your time with me. Much success to all your endeavors, the museum. I can't wait. So another 11 years before you're going to...
We hopefully have it fully built and customized and spectacular like Texas.
Okay. So from your mouth to God's ears, we're going to be there. Amen. Well, thank you for another episode of the Maine Health Show. I'm Stephanie Anderson. Thanks for coming. Till next time. Take care. Be blessed. Bye-bye. Are you tired of the misconceptions surrounding alopecia? Do you wish you could break through the BS, the belief systems, and embrace your true self? Introducing Alopecia is a Thing, Breaking Through the BS by me, Stephanie Anderson. In this groundbreaking book, I share my journey of assisting hundreds of clients with overcoming the challenges of alopecia and embracing themselves through empowering stories and practical tips. I guide you on a path to self-acceptance and confidence. It's time to debunk the myths and stereotypes surrounding alopecia. It's time to break free from the constraints of society's expectations. It's time to embrace who you truly are. Don't let alopecia hold you back any longer. Join countless others on a journey of self-discovery and empowerment.